Oh, hi, Matt with eTrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the Parkit360 Dolly. Now this is going to be a great option if you just want to move your trailers a little bit easier into those really tight spots. So let's check it out. Now this is going to be a great dolly for anyone who has these smaller trailers, because today I'm mainly going to be talking about the Parkit360 Dolly. That's going to be the 5K variation. There's also going to be a 10K variation, so if you have those larger campers, it'll be great for that. But if you have anything like this trailer that we have today, some more teardrop style campers or anything along that lines, I think this is great for that. And now if you're someone who has a designated spot at your home, your barn, wherever it is, this is going to be great for getting those trailers, maneuvering around other items, or just some spots that you can't get your truck to follow your trailer with. This is going to be where this really stands out. Now today I'm mainly going to be talking about how it's going to feel to use, so I'll do a couple tests, talk about how fast it goes and how well it's going to maneuver around objects. Now I got it removed from our trailer so we can talk a little bit more about what this is going to be like to actually live with too. So this is going to be pretty hefty, so if you try to pick it up, it's going to be difficult. Instead, you'll just have better luck wheeling it around, but part of the reason why it is so heavy is because it is designed to withstand those heavy trailers, and it's going to be made of steel. And it's also going to be pretty large too. You can save space, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But what's really nice about this, to prevent you from picking this up and moving it around, what you can do instead is put this in free spool. You just got to turn this knob up to have it engaged, and then free spool to be at the bottom. And from here, instead of picking it up, we can just wheel it around. And this is going to be great for a couple reasons. If you're just trying to hook up to your trailer, you can just wheel it over there that way. It'll be even faster. And let's say your battery dies, instead of having to pick it up, you can just wheel it somewhere. And one more thing I wanted to mention about the free spool mode is that that's really designed only to move around. It's not designed to move a trailer around. You should only move a trailer when this is in the powered mode. Let's make sure we get everything all set up, and I can show you that now. All I have to do here is pick this up, comes right out of there, and we need to make sure we have the correct ball paired up with this. And sometimes I'll even thread that out a bit so it sits up a little bit higher. Once that's done, we need to make sure this is going to be a flush fit. So what I'll do is I'll bring it over to my coupler, push this collar up, and you can tell there's going to be a gap underneath there. That's not going to be very good. I'll try flipping it the opposite direction. Still the same fit. So what I can do here is remove this puzzle piece, because it's just an adapter to make sure everything is as flush as possible. I'll put it up there one more time and check it. That's looking way better. And something else to think about before we tighten this down is you're going to have these little bolts on the ball on itself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that's facing behind us, because that's going to allow this coupler to properly attach. And from here, we can tighten this down. I'll just hold that collar in place, spin it until we're having a little bit of resistance. You can try to tighten it even more, but you'll reach a point where it's just too tight to move. And I'm going to have this tool that comes with our kit. It's going to have two little teeth on it, and those are going to grab into these holes we have. I'm going to put those teeth into those holes, apply pressure, and we're going to just keep tightening this down until it's really tight on here. Now that's really tight on here, I can bring over the dolly itself. Now that is lined up, I took it out of free spool mode so it doesn't roll around on us. We do have our trailer chocked, so we're being safe. Now I'll just lower this down a bit. You might need to adjust it a little bit more so it does line up. This part is a little bit easier if you have two people doing this, but it's still manageable. Now with that mostly in there, what I'm going to do here is you'll have your 7-way on your trailer, And I'm actually going to just connect that. If you do have your 7-way on there, and what this is going to do is allow us to use our brakes and lights on our trailer so you can be nice and safe with it. And with that plugged in, we can load this the rest of the way. Just make sure you plug in this battery, just like that, so we can get power. Now we're not going to move it quite yet, because in some cases, your jack here might sit fairly close to your tires. So what I'll do, especially with this foot, is just take off the foot. And if it's still going to be in the way right here, I'll just raise it up a little bit more. There we have it. It's out of the way. I can unchalk this now. And now we can start using this. And again, I want to reiterate that make sure you take off your chocks, because what can happen is if you pull on here, it's going to apply a lot of tension to that chain and it can snap. But we can check it now. Yeah, this is moving just fine. So now we can conduct our first test, and that's going to be me trying to get around this pole right on the other side. This is going to be a really tight turn. This might not even be able to make it around, but I know for a fact that a truck wouldn't be able to make this either. Sweet. So we just finished the test, and overall it was a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. There's a few reasons why, and the main reason is going to be our jack today. So when I was wanting to make some really tight turns, I had to actually try this a couple times. What was happening is the bottom of this jack, when we make that tight turn, since these tires are so large, they come really close to this and they want to scrape against this. And we don't want that because that could damage our tire or a jack. So what I had to do was do a couple pull-ups, back up, pull up, back up, but we were still able to get through here. It just took us a little bit longer. And we even had a slight incline. Now this is going to be rated for some really slight inclines. It's not really meant to go up any hill, so definitely keep that in mind. And the surface of the ground was pretty packed because this is designed for packed surfaces, whether it be concrete, pavement, some really packed gravel, kind of surfaces like that. And today it went smoothly even with our tandem axle trailer. A lot of times when you have a more manual style dolly that will push your trailer around, if you have a tandem axle trailer, it's going to fight you quite a bit. This, I really couldn't even feel it at all. And when I was making those really tight turns, I could keep an eye on it because I could stop it real quick, walk around, look at it, and then keep going. I had to do that a few times. Now, with other types of dollies out there, there are some remote options, which are really nice because you can walk around as you're still moving it, but those are going to be much more premium. And something else to consider is when I was making those turns, you probably noticed a couple times I really had to pull on this, sometimes even use my whole body weight. Other times it moved pretty smoothly. And that's just going to be the case with this because these tires are so large, they're going to have a lot more traction. And I even tested this out on the 10K variation of this. And to me, I think the 10K was a little bit harder to move. And that's because we have more weight on that ball itself, causing more traction. So we just finished the speed test, and there was a few things I noticed about it. First thing is, high is way faster than low. There's a pretty big difference. But with both of them, I felt that that initial takeoff felt pretty smooth. And that's really designed to make you more comfortable when you're operating it, so it's not really jolty when you're stopping or you're going. The other thing I noticed when I was having these two race each other is that the handle, the way it's designed, is actually pretty comfy. It's not too low or too high. There's a lot of different dollies I have used where you have to bend over some to operate them. It's not very comfortable like this one is here. Now let's go into some of the specs of this. So one thing I do want to point out, you are going to get this secondary ball, like I said earlier, and this is going to be your 2-inch one, and right now I'm using the 2 5/16 ball. Now they're both going to have the same capacity, and that's going to be 5,000 pounds for your towing or pulling capacity and 900 pounds for your tongue weight. Really what the difference there is, your pulling capacity is what the trailer weighs itself that you're pulling, and the tongue capacity is going to be the downward force being applied to the ball. Let's talk about how to maintain this, and the first place I'm going to begin with is charging it up. So what we want to do when we're charging it up is first I recommend taking off this handle because it's going to save you more space, but it's also for a safety precaution. Because if you were charging this up, and let's say you have it inside in your garage and something hits this button at the very top, it could go forward and damage something else. So we can separate that. That already saves us a lot more space. And then the other key point to take into account here is our battery. Now we want to make sure that this battery here stays plugged in actually. Because if we connect this cable that comes with your kit to the dolly and that battery is not connected, it's not going to charge at all. Because we're really just charging this battery that's on here. And that's how we get power. And what's actually really neat about this is you can actually get a different cable that's a little bit longer to put on here, and you can actually make that connect to the batteries on your trailer instead. So you don't need to get power from this. You can get power from your battery from your trailer as well. And we're actually going to have this display right here. That's going to let you know what your battery is currently at and whether or not it's charging. It's going to have a couple other settings too. You can actually find what those mean in your owner's manual. Now speaking of our owner's manual, you also want to make sure some other points are going to be taken care of, like your tires. Now these are going to need to be inflated, so the owner's manual is going to have an exact number for you to inflate these too. And of course they're going to be that long-term maintenance. So when you have this over a longer period of time, you want to make sure that you're not charging this every day, every second. Because if you overcharge it, that can actually damage your battery. What I'd recommend doing instead is letting that get to its until it's filled, and then waiting maybe a couple months if you haven't used it, and then charging it again. Just make sure it does have some energy in here. Same thing for your tires, just checking that every now and then to make sure they're not going to deflate on you. There's going to be a couple other points. We also want to make sure that we are lubricating our chain bushing in here. Again, also going to be in your owner's manual. So in my opinion, I think this is going to be a pretty solid option. Now we do have some other options here on our website, and if you're looking for another one, Trailer Valet makes another dolly. And there's a few things I do like about that. It's going to be more lightweight and compact, so it is easier to move around. And I do find actually making those more hard turns are more doable since the tires aren't going to be as large. But this one is just going to be easier if you're just doing more simple maneuverments. And what I mean by that is, one, the handle is going to be more ergonomic, and two, it's going to be powered. We have this button right at the very top of it that we can press and move it around. Now, we'd love to hear, if you do decide to go with this, how it's working for you and what type of situations it's helped you out with you and your trailer. But again, I'm Matt, and thanks for watching.